Hello everybody, I'm Roy Cohen. I'll be hosting this week's edition of the Community Forum Show, and we have a very special lineup of guests, but before we do that I want to start off with a little quiz. When you hear the name STOYAC, what individuals do you think of? Well, I think of John Kowalczyk.
Hi.
I think of George Dolinsky. These are the two of the primary gentlemen who are very involved, and as far back as I remember have been very involved with the youth program designed to help the kids keep busy. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Roy. Appreciate it. Nice seeing you again.
George, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Can we start off with a little history of STOYAC? Is that a possibility?
Sure. STOYAC, first of all, stands for Stoughton Youth Athletic Club.
Right.
And this started back in 1963. So that would make it, 55 years old this year.
Right.
And it was started by four gentlemen in particular in the town, which was Aldo Stefano,
Henry Rogers,
Henry Rogers, of course, and then
Tuck
Toomey.
And they started it. They saw the need for something for...
And Tommy Heron, who was the postmaster at the time.
Okay, that's before my time.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's because you guys are all older than I am.
Well,
George is the senior statesman of the group.
Thanks.
But it started back a number of years ago, and it's still in great stead today. We're still the largest youth organization in town. There are others that aren't affiliated with STOYAC, but we would be the largest overall because of our participation basically in football, cheerleading, basketball, and softball. And so it runs 12 months a year, and there's always something going on. So it's great for the kids, it's a great outlet, it's a great feeder program for the schools. Gives the high schools an advantage, at least there is no intramural program in town. So basically the youth sports programs are the school's intramural programs, and we're proud of that, and we're glad to be assistants and sending people up to the high school with some background in sports.
excellent. It works out pretty well.
It does, and it has for quite some time.
How many kids do you have involved in the program? Do you know?
Oh, geez, overall, I don't know. I mean, we have about 300 in football, cheerleading.
You got over 400 playing basketball, and you got about 100 and some odd girls playing softball.
Yeah.
You know, so it's quite extensive. It seemed big numbers many years ago, but at the same time, like John said earlier, it's an advent for the kids learning the games, getting their start, and then moving on to the advanced into the schools, which is very important.
And STOYAC is a private organization?
As all others, we're a private organization. We're all volunteers.
Everybody's
Everybody's a volunteer. Nobody's getting a salary. Nobody gets paid. We put in a lot of hours. Oh yeah, we do get a shirt occasionally or something like that. But if you had to equate it to a dollar amount, it's pennies on the hour. I mean, it doesn't pay. We enjoy what we do, and as do all the other members of all the other boards, whether it be STOYAC or Little League or soccer or any of the other organizations. They're all volunteers.
From what I know of the two of you, you've both been involved in the town in other fashions.
Yeah.
We both have.
You, John, I seem to remember being on the finance committee.
I was on the finance committee for 9 years, but in between, on either side, bookends, I was on the Board of Selectmen for 9 years, and then I stepped back and decided to take a lesser role. So I took 9 years on the finance committee, and then ended up getting back on the Board of Selectmen for another 6. So, and I was 2.5 years on the planning board before all that. I've always been involved. I've always been. It's something that I always enjoyed. Youth sports as well. I've always been involved with youth sports and played as a kid. And I love the town. The town's a great town. Especially it's been exhibited even just over these past few weeks with the tragedy that just occurred and how the town has come together, and they always do. It's a sad thing to happen. But 3 of the kids actually played football for us. So years, in their youth football days. So it's sad. But it's a great town, and I really love living here.
What about your roots, George?
I'm New York City, born and raised.
The two of you seem to have that kind
right.
of an accent.
It's unfortunately, once you're born there, you don't lose it. We carry it with us forever. But at the same time, I wound up in Stoughton also, involved with the youth sports, also town government, town meeting rep in Precinct 2. I was on the Finance Committee also for 9 years, not the same as John. Also served on the Conservation Commission and the Council on Aging, both for 9 years each. And been a town meeting rep for going on almost 40 years now.
So I don't know what I'm going to do when I grow up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
So,
Yeah, you guys are to be commended for all the time that you do pour into the town.
thank you.
Thank you, Roy.
Appreciate it.
It's nice of you.
But the most fun was being on the Board of Selectmen with you.
Oh, yeah,
You
that
always
was
kept us on our toes.
that was a ball. Those are productive years. I have to admit it. We've had our controversies, but we seem to overcome them.
Not you and I.
Not well. We tried, but it's hard to believe you guys keep going, and I've been out of the scene for
Yeah.
about 30 years now.
Yeah.
Well, you're more than welcome to come back, Roy. I mean, there's openings. We have some spots for you if you like.
I'll
Can you
take
coach?
it.
Can you coach football?
No,
You do basketball?
I can hardly walk.
Well, you can coach basketball then.
Coach basketball. That would be following in my father's footsteps.
That
He
right?
was the coach of the School for the Deaf basketball team.
no
Really?
And that was a little on the unique side because they would have to really blow the whistles for them to hear.
Yeah.
And also, he was a quarterback for his football team.
Okay.
I'll give you one other useless trivia. At his memorial service, the headmaster for the Rhode School for the Deaf came up with a story about my father that I never knew, that he was the one who initiated the huddle, the football huddle.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
he was a quarterback on his team of deaf players
Uh-huh.
playing at the Mount Airy School for the Deaf in Philadelphia. And when between plays, they would do with the sign language, and then he would realize that the other team, who were also deaf, were watching him. So they were able to pick up on the signs. So he got the idea to gather the players around.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's true or not.
That sounds
But-
good, though.
But it's a
But
very
it's-
plausible story.
I figure when I see him in the great hereafter, I'll ask him about it.
That's good.
So you guys, you provide an opportunity for all the kids to develop socially, athletically, emotionally, through teamwork and sportsmanship.
Right.
Without all of those attributes, they would be hanging around corners.
You don't know what. I mean, look, yes, exactly. I mean, it gives them an opportunity to do something productive. Now, things have changed over the last 5, 10, 15 years because there's so many more opportunities for kids. So that's part of the difficulty, at least with running a youth sports program these days, is that and the demographics of the town have changed a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back when I moved into town, it was still a young town, a lot of young marrieds and, with young children and things like that. A lot of that has basically gone south in terms of, Norton and Mansfield and other areas. So the Stoughton town has matured a bit more. So you've got less of a population to draw from. And they've got so many other things to do. And but yeah, it's those attributes are great. I mean, it's great to be a teammate. We want the kids to have fun. That's our motivation. We're not there to make any money or anything like that. It's self-sustaining. That's all it is. We don't get any proceeds from the town, which is fine. I mean, we're not asking for anything. But on the other hand, it's all done on a voluntary basis with sponsorships and registrations, of course, and some, cake sales and things like that.
Wouldn't it be easier if the town participated financially?
Of course. I mean, of course.
Have you
So,
thought of going that route?
well, I don't know that we
Well,
have. It's gone the opposite direction,
It
actually.
went in, I think, the early 80s, was it 81, 82? Excuse me. There was an article in town meeting on the warrant that the town contributed, I think it was $5,000 each to 3 different youth groups, STOYAC being one of them. I think Little League at the time was one, and I believe it may have been hockey as a third. And Proposition 2.5 came in.
Oh, yeah.
And at that first go-round, the town meeting voted to fund the 3 youth groups. That was, I think, the first year. The second year, the town meeting voted not to fund, and that was the last time. I think it was like 1982. That was the last time the youth groups ever saw any money from the town. We basically have survived on, like John says, registration fees, fundraisers, sponsorships, and everything else, and it's all done for the kids. Unfortunately, there are costs involved in running these programs. It would be nice to be able to shovel everything out and say, hey, we're going to offer the programs free of charge, but they're extenuating costs. You have to mow the football field. You have to line the girls' softball field. You have to cover custodial overtime of a basketball program. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on.
It's very costly.
Now, people don't realize how expensive it is to run a program. And this goes true, I think, in every one of the other leagues, whether it be lacrosse, baseball, soccer, or whatever.
But the different levels, of course, and there's
Yeah.
different attributes in each one of the sports. Like for football, for us, that's a very, very expensive sport because of the equipment that we supply. We always supply top flight equipment. It's all, it's the best of the best. But these helmets are about $130 a piece, and then we, the shoulder pads and things like that. And by the way, STOYAC supplies almost all of the equipment. So if somebody wants to play football or cheerleading, for that matter, we supply basically the uniforms and various insurances, and except for personal items, and that's a big expense. So we have to do that, consistently replenish our inventory.
Not only that, but you also have to have the helmets certified, especially in football.
Yeah.
Because that's a cost also.
Yeah,
we have to bear.
There's a lot.
What
And then
consi-
basketball, of course, has different expenses.
Yeah. Well,
Basketball has to pay for the use of the gyms. Those are not free. So
It's
and that's a
custodial
whole different.
overtime.
It's another story, but we
but
have
it's a
to pay
cost.
it.
We have to pay
It's an
it.
expensive cost. So those are the costs. So I mean, when you think you're paying $75 for this or $140 for this, you're actually getting a lot. A lot for your money, because there's a great deal of expense that goes with it. So, but we do okay.
On the subject of football, are you aware of the conversations that have been going on lately about concussions?
Sure.
Do you have the latest in helmets to
we do. We have,
minimize that?
yeah, of course. We spend, like I said, we buy top flight equipment. The CTE problem is an issue for most people, and I understand the hesitance sometimes of the parents. Of course, certainly don't diminish that at all. The one thing I will say, though, however, is we're talking about kids. We're going to a grade-based system now. So I mean, second graders play with second graders, third graders play with third graders, and so on and so up, up to the 8th grade. So it's measured, and it's these kids, certainly at the lower levels, they barely touch each other. So it's certainly not. When they're talking in the pros, it's a whole different story, even at the college and high school to some extent. So it really doesn't impact us too much. But we're all required. We take the Heads Up program. We're Corey certified. We're as far as the
coaches.
the coaches have to be certified. We take every precaution. We limit hitting in practice and so forth. And there are rules for that, and we do a good job of it. And we've been doing it, quite frankly, longer than there's been an issue. So it's quite a safe program. There are other sports, I won't specifically name them right now because I don't want to tarnish it, but there are some sports out there that people play in this town that are more dangerous than football, certainly. And those are some of the sports that you play without any equipment at all. Use your imagination.
Yeah.
So, in any way, it's certainly something that needs to be looked at, and we certainly follow all of the developments and so forth.
Do you have any problems filling the spaces and teams?
Yeah, well, we're having a more difficult. Well, I say more difficult, but I mean there are a lot of other factors involved too. Like I'm saying, that people narrow their focus on different things. But yeah, we notice it, but we still have people that sign up and so forth, and we're glad for that. And we have, like I said, we have medical staff, and this is something that's really well organized, and it takes a lot of effort by a lot of people, and we do a great job with it. Actually, we have a great program.
Similar to that football, we do have the same thing going on in basketball too. You have different levels, different grades that participate together. We have a second grade instructional program, which is a co-ed program for boys and girls in the second grade. Third and fourth grade in the boys have been what we call our Pee Wee division. And in the girls' end, we have the third, fourth, and fifth grade girls as a elementary school division. And the reason for that now is the fact that the number of girls participating in basketball has dropped off somewhat, so we combined that level. In the boys' end, fifth and sixth grades, what we call juniors, and in the boys' seventh and eighth, we have what we call seniors. That's a senior division. And the one thing we have started, and we had for a number of years now, is the graduate division, which is high school age kids, 9 through 12, who have not made the high school basketball team. And they play what we call doubleheaders, okay? And for the girls, in the middle school, 6, 7, and 8, that's another division for us. So we're always looking for players. And the one thing that I like about the basketball program is a lot of the coaches are high school students. Because a lot of the parents, you have two parents that are working, they can't get to a practice at 5:30. So what happens is that a lot of the high school kids volunteer to coach. And some of them coach their own siblings, or they just volunteer because they want to be involved.
That's interesting.
And some of my most successful coaches have been high school students. And there's been times on Championship Saturday, which packs the high school gym, some of the high school kids come dressed better than I do. I mean, they come with shirts and ties, or if it's a boy, and some of the girls come with dresses and skirts, whatever. And they take this very seriously, and it's a great little program, and we're always looking for players.
And a lot of the coaches, of course, have come up through the programs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice. And we always encourage kids who were kids back then to come back and to devote some time to it. We'd always make room for them. We love to have them back because that's how the programs continue to flourish.
That's nice. Well, you guys are to be commended. I think you're doing a
Thank
great
you.
job.
Thank you.
STOYAC sponsors other organizations, or you support other organizations?
Well, we don't. We make contributions on occasion to organizations or to things. Like we do scholarships, for instance. We have scholarships that are awarded to the high school graduates who apply for them. And
8 scholarships a year.
I think it's 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's our benchmark is 8. Sometimes it's one more,
Yeah.
1 or 2 more. Sometimes, depending on the number of applicants and how much they've contributed to the program, it could be a little bit less. But some of the other things that we contribute to and work with, and it's known in the town, is that we work and support the PTOs in the various schools when they have their fundraisers
Fairs
and everything
and
else.
stuff,
So we also offer something to raffle off so they can raise funds for their organizations. We also help and sponsor the Party All Night Long panel, which is for the graduating seniors. I think it's graduation night, I think it is, where they have a party or they have a celebration at the middle school. So we've always
Overnight,
supported
right.
that also. And one of the other things that we support, another organization that we have helped out also is STOYAC, the Stoughton Area Exceptional Citizens.
We've been doing that for a long time.
We are we're a benevolent organization. I mean, we do what we can.
I see by your list here you have school PTOs, which you already mentioned, spring fairs, Pan Mass Challenge, Jimmy
Right.
Fund, the Wounded Warrior Project, which we had the gentleman on for that, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, the Shriners Football Classic, and many more.
Yeah, and they're mostly, in fact, entirely as a result of participants from our program who are now moving along and so forth. But like the schools, we donate what we can in terms of memberships or scholarships, you know, where they can be used in various sports. But keep in mind, we raise all of this money ourselves, so we're looking for donations, not necessarily to hand the money out. But we're glad to, because if it's related to, say, some of the kids that have gone through the program, they have the opportunity to do something else, you know, we'll get a letter. Or, you know, like the Pan Mass Challenge, for instance, we've been doing that for a number of years. And that, so we're benevolent in that respect, you know. But everybody's looking to do the same thing, so we're glad that we can participate as much as we can.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You have a good working relationship with the school department? I mean, there's a certain type of blending, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, of course we'd like a little bit more support in our reach out, you know, outreach to the students in terms of, you know, letting them know what's going on fundamentally. But yeah, no, we do pretty well. We work with the athletic department for certain. In fact, this year, you know, for the next 2 years, I mean, the high school is under construction. They don't have a football field. So last year, we, being that we have exclusive use of it because we built it essentially with private funds. And that was a very expensive place, and it's a great field if you haven't been down there.
Beautiful field.
Yeah, and so in our, you know, in the absence of them having a field, we do have the varsity come down to, you know, 1 day a week to prep before the games, usually on a Thursday. We also on Saturdays for 4 games a year, we, you know, had the freshmen and the JV team down there to play their games, so at least they'll have a home field. So we try to work it in as best we can. I get their schedule, I have mine, because we have a set schedule as well. And so it's a pretty busy place, but you know, we do what we can. And yeah, we have a great relationship. I mean, we use the schools for the basketball and so forth. But you know, it's an excellent relationship. And like I said, you got to look at it in the whole bubble. We're all the same place.
Right.
We're all the same people.
Right.
And that's the way we look at it.
George, what can you tell us about the basketball program in detail?
Well, to be honest with you, Roy, the basketball program is a tremendous melting pot. When you have 5 elementary schools in town, including the kids from Avon, which is something else I'll get into later, it's the largest individual sports program, okay, with over 400 kids playing basketball between the rec program and in our travel program. Travel program is one where you have to make the team. I mean, there's a full tryout, and the coaches select maybe 10 or 12 kids to represent Stoughton and STOYAC in the Metro West travel program. The other half, the rec program, is anybody who can't chew gum and walk at the same time, like myself, who wants to play basketball, can come out and play and be on a team and participate in the program, okay, from 2nd grade all the way through, like I said, high school. The boys and girls all participate. And like I find the sports, not only STOYAC, but all the sports, really, the people who really benefit in the long run, not only the kids who learn about teamwork and working with others and meeting kids from other parts of town, but at the same time, it makes it a lot easier when they go to the middle school or the junior high at one point, because these kids know each other. And the sports brings kids together. So when you and I, you lived on one side of town, I lived on the other. When we got to the middle school, hey Roy, how are you? I mean, we played on the same team, or we played against each other, or whatever, but you know each other. And it's not that cliquey side, like when we went to school in New York, you had these kids from PS 33 against the kids from PS 79, and you huddle together because you know each other. But here in Stoughton, with the sports programs, and any of the sports programs, the kids get to know each other, which is, I think, one of the best benefits in working with the school department, making their job a little bit easier, especially at the middle school. So, and then with the basketball program, we need the schools because it's the only indoor sport.
400 participants?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We have an hour of practice usually during the week. Games are on Saturday. Travel program plays on Sundays. We use the middle school, high school, Gibbons, Dorr, and also we have a relationship with Avon. We use the Avon High School also.
That's nice.
So we're about 5 schools. I put a lot of mileage on my car running between schools to make sure everything is running properly during the basketball season. It's a big program, and a lot of things go on, and it's all volunteers. All volunteers.
What are some of the places the teams have traveled to?
Oh boy, you're going to start me on that.
That's a whole other league.
That's the travel program. The Metro West travel program has about 70 to 80 different towns. They go as far south as into Rhode Island, and as far, well, I'm not sure how far north Sudbury is or Southborough is, but they go all over. And as a matter of fact, this year, our 4th grade boys team, coached by a former player in our program, won not only the Metro West 4th grade boys championship, but the state 4th grade boys championship. And I'm very proud of these kids. They did a real nice job, played a lot of games, and they went to a lot of places, but they did very well. And previous years, we had the 7th grade boys and 6th grade girls both won Metro West championships.
Nice.
So, I mean, when you're representing the town and you have the volunteer coaches that come in and work with these kids during the week and everything, and then the fruit of their labors is on Sunday, seeing how well these kids have played against competition from some of these other towns. And we have our own requirements, you know, as to when we have tryouts and everything else and when the practices start. Some of these other towns, their kids are they're playing basketball now. And we compete against some of these towns that have teams that come in that have already played 40 or 50 games before we've even played our first game.
But I want to point out, everything starts with the rec program, everything. So that's, you know, so we don't want kids to think that, you know, they're on this all-star team and that's the only way they're going to get to play, because that's not the case. The case is that all of this starts at the lower grades in the rec program, and kids can develop into that program. So we're not excluding anybody. I mean, this isn't an elite basketball opportunity. It does have that capability, and it is, and we do have an elite program for the travel, but it all starts at the recreation program. And softball is another great example of that. I don't know if we have that on your list, but
I do. I
okay.
was just going to ask about that.
Well, softball is very similar to basketball, except that softball is girls only, okay? And but it's very similar. They have the rec program, which actually the championships, they're in the championship season now. So the rec program is about ending this week, and then we have then we go into the travel program, and then we have a summer program. And again, that rises up. And the softball program has been phenomenal in terms of what they've accomplished. They do a great job, and you know, so but it's very similar to the basketball program and how it operates.
Well, one of the things with the softball program also is the fact that we also sponsor a tournament during the summer, one of the biggest in the area, the what we call the Smacker tournament that's played on the
July 20th, I think.
July 20th, 21st, something like that,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have towns that come in from all over, from Maine, New York, wherever, to compete at our complex. And it's a tremendous draw. We've had a very big turnout for that. And it's nice to see these towns that come in from, these teams that come in from other towns or even other states that come into Stoughton.
I noticed the big signs that you have up there.
Yeah.
The electronic signs that tell them this is where they turn in.
Yeah.
I always wondered what that meant.
Yeah.
Well,
that's great. People come, like George says, these teams come from all over, and the reason they do come from all over is because we put on, the softball program puts on a tremendous tournament. Everybody loves it, and it's quite an event.
They sell out very quickly.
With all that's going on, with all these different activities and all the coordination, do you guys have a staff, or do you do it all yourself?
Oh, no. We have people that work with us for sure. I mean,
absolutely.
We couldn't do this all on our own. I mean, we may be the visible parts of it, but
You're the coordinators.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the STOYAC board. We oversee all of the sports, but each program has their own director. Let's call it. And I know with football, I mean, I have great people that work with me, to accomplish it, because it's a big job. And same thing with George, and same thing with Tony Carafa and the softball program. You have to have the support, and hopefully, as time goes on, we regenerate the new blood and bring more people into it. So it sustains itself over a course of years. That's why we're here for 55 years. Not me, George maybe, but not me.
Thank you, John. But in the basketball program, each division has a coordinator. So you have a hierarchy, is the program director, and you also have coordinators at every level, and I also have a travel coordinator who, because we have 9 or 10 teams in the travel program alone, is managed by one person. And then in the rec portion of the program, in the basketball, where you have just about 400 kids in that, and also different divisions, you got you got about 6 or 7 different divisions there. Each one has a coordinator. So it goes down, and then each team has a coach. So it works all the way down, and we reach everybody. But it's not done just because we're here or Tony's not here, who's not here at the moment. We may be visible, but it's the people that are doing the actual work underneath us that make it all happen.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I meant to ask you when you were talking about softball, is it slow pitch or is it fast pitch?
For me, they're very fast. I mean, they
Well,
seem
it
to be a lot
depends.
faster.
Again, it goes with the age.
Yeah.
It goes with the tournament. Now, for instance, on the travel teams, they're pitching the ball, with more speed, of course. The rec program, it's generally, slow pitch, because you're talking about little, or we just want to get over the plate on occasion, But that all comes with time, and some of these girls really develop very, very nicely, and and they go and they move on. So I mean, it's not for everybody. Sports aren't for everybody, but there's an opportunity for everybody. Everybody has a place in life, and if it's basketball or football or softball, we're there to provide it. Or cheerleading. Cheerleading is a great sport too. Let me overlook.
We'll get there.
Oh, okay. I don't see your agenda here.
It's part of it. I know I've seen some sports, the softball, the girls' softball on TV, and boy, they're fast.
Let me tell you, I remember when I first moved up here, and one of our board members, Jean Dre, her daughter was, and this is just when I was just fairly new to the town, Rhonda. She was quite the pitcher, and Stoughton had really good high school softball team back then. And I remember going over to Brockton, it was a tournament, and I couldn't believe the velocity that anybody could get throwing underhand, much less a girl. I just never thought of it, because back in New York, we didn't have that. I grew up in Brooklyn. We had baseball and rocks, I guess, but but anyway, I was shocked and astonished at how these girls can throw that ball as fast as they do. But that's, again, up in the upper level. When you get the second graders, third graders, fourth graders, stuff like that, it all progresses. And like I said, some people will go on, others will go and just enjoy whatever they do, enjoy. So, like I said, it's open to everybody. We're a startup.
We've talked about the sports. How about the support, the cheerleading?
Well, that's a sport.
That's a sport?
Oh, you're kidding me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're going to get a lot of poison pen letters, I can tell. No, these girls work really, really hard.
Okay.
It's, they put a lot of time in.
Just girls?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, they've had some boys that have been involved, and certainly in college level and stuff like that you have these.
Were you a
mixed teams.
cheerleader?
No. I was generally on the bottom of a huddle, a pylon, but that was where I was for the most part. But these girls work really hard. Their routines are very precise. They just don't show up and start doing what they do. Now, you see them at games because they're part of our game day exercise, and that's basically cheerleading as you know it. But they do competition cheerleading. And that's where, and you've seen it on television maybe, or whatever. But
the pyramids?
So they do the pyramids. There's all kinds of things that they do. And some of these programs are just absolutely incredible. We have some great coaches. We've, again, had a really good program. The cheerleading program is very big. And they'll go to, I think there's like 4 or 5 tournaments or competitions that they'll go to this year. And, they're athletes. It's not just rah-rah. We like that. We like them to do that, but they have their own thing, and we support it 1,000%.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about the different sports. Let's look at some pictures.
Okay.
And you can tell us what that's all about.
All right, what you see right now on the screen is this seems to be a boys' game that was being played at the O'Donnell Middle School during a Saturday game, or was that or a playoff game? I can't tell from who's on the court at the moment, but at the same time, this is an intramural game that's going on. That's
Future Celtics.
The Celtics or, well, I hate to mention the Knicks, but I mean, we won't talk about them. But at the same time, they're future high school players there. And
Can't get it out of your system, huh?
no, not at all, not at all. And this one here, I think John can explain. There's
this is
an old man in
actually
the background there. You see that old man in the background?
Yeah,
there?
I was down there at one of the competitions that we were just talking about where the girls won a trophy. They trophied, and they did a great job. And, that's at the end of it. And at the end of it, all the teams get back into the middle, and they wait for the announcements of the awards and so forth. And that's where we are right there. So we have a great program, like I said, and I can't believe I have gray hair.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know. I didn't. I thought it was brown for all these years.
Yeah.
This is, again, after one of our games. These are certainly I'm not sure what team it is. Looks like they're probably C's or B's, because, again, we go by grade. But that's those are our uniforms, certainly, and those are some of the girls, the cheerleaders, who on this particular day were wearing the jerseys for the football team. Like I said, we provide like all the equipment, so nobody's left out. There's not an expense for you to go out and have to buy all this stuff. We provide all of that.
And this picture here, this is a rec game again at the high school. This looks like the middle school. No, this would be the middle school girls. That's the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls playing a game at the high school. That's where the girls usually play. And again, it's a gentleman in the striped shirt back there is a referee. We also have referees. These games are all refereed by professional referees, so they know the rules better.
They're not volunteers, they're paid.
They have to get paid. Unfortunately, what happens is it makes the game run a little bit smoother because they know the rules, they know how to judge a game, and they know how to call the game.
This is an action shot of one of our younger football players wearing number 5, which was my number in high school. So it was also Paul Horning's number, if anybody's old enough to remember Paul Horning. But breaking off a nice run against North Attleboro, and just like one of the nice shots. Softball. This is the rec program, right? So I'm not sure what age level that is, but this is one of the teams. I'm sure it's one of the championship teams that we have. And we have, like I said, quite a number of teams that we support. And this is some of the girls in action. And ironically, it wasn't. This wasn't planned by any means, but as it turns out, Leo McGowan's granddaughters are featured there. Megan and Caitlin, is it, Leo? And so this wasn't set up by that, but see, we got a familial trait here.
And those games are all played over at the West School Complex.
Yeah. Nice job. This whole program, you mentioned it was started in 1963.
Correct.
55 years ago. You didn't mention, I don't believe, Henry Rogers.
I did. But Henry Rogers, I was just with last night. Henry is still with us. He's a great guy. If people don't know Henry, you might remember he and his wife Dottie were the owners of Dorothy Jean's Bakery, which closed a number of years ago.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Used to go in there for coffee.
Yeah.
And a piece of pastry.
There's still people that will come up to him. I see him every so often when we're out, but. People have come up and said, "Oh, I loved your lemon such and such," and so he likes that. But actually, he told me something last night. I told him we were coming on to do the show today, and I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but actually, at one time, STOYAC started the Stoughton soccer program, and that was were you aware of that?
No.
Yeah, Henry said they had it, and they did it for a year or two, and then somebody from within the community decided to devote more time to it, and basically it's now become Stoughton Youth Soccer.
I wonder if that was Manny Colts.
No, it wasn't Manny. It was before his time. I'm trying. I want to say somebody. I'm not sure if I got the name right. I think it's Jim Costa or somebody, but somebody within the Portuguese community took it and nurtured it, and it's become a very successful program. But it was news to me. I didn't realize we had soccer back then. We'd like to get involved in some of these other sports too, because we are. We have a field to play on and so forth. I'd love to get, like for instance, flag football. They could use our field as a real field. We could do different things with it. There's been some talk. I know they started a lacrosse program here in town too that apparently is doing very well. So, you know, we're open to other things, but of course you need people to do the other things. So, you know, maybe somewhere down the road we can accomplish that.
So basically, just to kind of wrap up what you've been talking about, you're talking STOYAC is involved with 4 sports.
Correct.
Football, cheerleading, there it is.
Yes.
That's a sport. Softball and basketball. Totally operated by volunteers.
Oh, completely.
Does that include the concessions?
Everything's volunteer. Now, we pay, I mean, we have to raise this money because, for instance, for football, we have 4 officials on the field. Now, people don't realize this. This isn't just there gratis. These officials, they each get like $70 a game. You got, you know, you got plus a timekeeper. So it costs you over $300 per game. We do 5 games on a Sunday, typically. You know, that's $1,500. So you know, there's a big expense there. So they're not volunteers. We actually pay them. That's a group of officials, and we contract with them, or the league contracts with them. So it's very professionally done. But yeah. So
do you have any donors, big donors?
we have some. Yeah, we have great donors. We have everybody chips in a little bit. I mean, some more than others, and we had you know, we built Community Field on. It's called Community Field because Dick Levine, who was the president of STOYAC at the time, and myself and some of the other people, basically got the town involved, and the community field where we play football used to be the original Little League fields.
The Lee Hanna-Mara fields.
Yeah. And so we came in and we had, you know, great people like, you know, I don't even want to name them all, but like Ralph Palilio from Palilio's, you know, they came in, they did a lot of grading and so on and so forth, seating. And, you know, we had so many others I know I'm missing, and I don't want to go
Scotty
into all of them.
Carrera and his crew came in
So-
with their trucks and equipment.
So the reason it's called Community Field is because it was something that was done by and for the community.
Right.
And we're very proud of that, and we're proud to call it Community Field for that
Stoughton is
reason.
good for that.
Yeah, really, they are. So do we have big donors? We have donors of all sizes, and you know,
we do the best we can to publicize the donors. They're all listed on our website under every sport. They're listed on the basketball, in the basketball program, in the rec program. The names of the sponsors are all on the T-shirts. Okay, so each sponsor gets a shirt, and in some cases more than one shirt, because a sponsor may sponsor more than one team. Softball the same way. They have sponsors. They have banners. We have banners at the football field. We put up for the sponsors. We do a lot to publicize the sponsors. As a matter of fact, a number of years ago, one of the priests in town used to tell me he knew when basketball season started. And I asked him, how did he know it? Because he says on Sunday in church, the kids are all wearing their new basketball jerseys. And he knew that's when basketball used to be, that's when it started. And it made me feel good that the kids wear these things and what it is. They're walking advertisements for a lot of the sponsors.
They're proud to be participants.
the point, though, to be made, though, is that we're not restricted on the number of sponsors we can have. And we really need support. And so if there's anybody out there that wants to get involved in any way you can, we really could use your support, and we do appreciate it. And look, the kids of this town, they're the future of the town. And it's just a good thing to do, and we're proud to be able to do it.
I think we have some contact information that we can put up. There we go. So if you want to donate or
Questions
or whatever.
If you go to the website, it will take you to all the information about all the programs, registrations, general information. We all do now online registration as well. So we're, you know, it's out there. If you want to, you know, get in touch with us, there's an email there. You can do that, or you can just go to the website. All of our phone numbers are there. We'd love to hear from you, and also we have a registration coming up for football next week, as it is. We'll be at the Stoughton Police Station on June 14th from, I think, like 6 to 8:30. And then on the 16th, which is the Saturday, we'll be there on Saturday morning. So come up. You have any questions, you want to sign your child up for football or cheerleading, you want to talk about something, you want to find out about coaching, whatever you need to know. If you want to come up and write a check and make a donation, we're there too. So,
and basketball will have their sign-ups online. Will start at the end of August. And we'll have walk-in registration sometime in September. Our season will start at the end of October, beginning of November, with practices, and games will start in December.
And softball is coming up, as I said. The travel season is on. The SMACA tournament, which is a great tournament, is July 20th, 21st, and 22nd, I believe, at the West School Complex.
What does SMACA stand for?
I don't know. I didn't make it up.
It's just the name. It's a smack.
It
Smack
rhymes
of the ball.
with something.
You're smacking the ball.
Okay, all right. I'll take it. I don't know why. It's just gotten that name. I'm sure Sheila Campbell and Tony and Brian and John. I mean, I'm sure they have the derivation of it. Unfortunately, Brian couldn't be here today, but anyway, so you want to come down and see what it's all about, make plans. It starts on a Friday night, goes all day Saturday, and then they have the championships on Sunday morning usually.
And I see that you've made arrangements with the high school to allow them to use your field.
Yeah,
For
well,
various,
when I say allow them, yeah, we work together. I mean, they need a field, and they need a field for, they play all away games, but like I said, it's not suitable for the varsity games, but we allow them to practice there prior to their games. And then, of course, on Saturdays we have, not every Saturday, but alternating Saturdays, we have the freshmen and the JV teams playing, on alternate Saturdays. So it's used, there's somebody down there every week for games. And we only use it for games. And that's why the field is in such good shape.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some public service announcements that we're going to play to get them on board. We thank them for what they do with the town, etc.
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre, and the crew wants to thank Maxie's Delicatessen. That's at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. They're 781-341-1662. American Cancer Society, yes, they're looking for volunteers. Drive cancer patients to and from their treatments. 1-800-ACS-6662. Or just go to www.cancer.org. Ilsa Mark's Food Pantry in St. Anthony's Free Market, 2 Park Avenue in Stoughton. For more information, call Christine Gallagher. That's at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. Meals on Wheels. Just ask for Jessica. You'll find her at 781-344-8882, extension 2. Stoughton Penny Saver. Our business is advertising your business, they tell us. 27 Rose Glen Street, Stoughton, 781-344-4833. Community Forum showtimes in Stoughton. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 28. All comments and suggestions welcome. Contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. Samaritans, they're at 41 West Street on the 4th floor in Boston, 02111. Their phone number is 617-536-2460. 24-hour helplines for Samaritans, and the number is 877-870-HOPE. That's 877-870-4673. Samaritans, you can find them at 800-252-TEEN. That's 252-8336. Or find them online at SamaritansHope.org.
Monday night bingo at the Ahavator congregation, which is at 1179 Central Street in Stoughton. If you're watching this before this coming Monday, you might want to get there because they got big prizes, which I'm sure are going to go this week. They have a $1,199 coverall that's going to probably go, and they have one that's $3,000 that's probably going to go. So if you want to be part of it, come on down. Doors open at 4:30 p.m. Games start at 6:30 p.m. And my suggestion is you get there early because the crowds are starting to build and you want to get a good seat. Get Fresh is Stoughton's own cooking show. They're working on new episodes. There's new episodes coming soon. It's seen on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 28. Mondays at 5:30 p.m., Wednesdays at 8 p.m., Thursdays at 9 a.m., Friday at 5 p.m. The Hometown Business Show is another Comcast production. It features businesses that want to let you know that they're here. If you want to have us come down and broadcast or film an episode with you, just get in touch with us. Hometown Business Show is seen on Tuesdays at 11 a.m., Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m., Sundays at 7 p.m. on Comcast Channel 9, Verizon 28. STOYAC, you guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, we just spent the last 45 minutes doing so, but it's a great program. As we said, come on down, give us a call. I mean, if you have any questions, we'd be glad to answer them for you.
The contact information, if you want to send a check, is Box 44 in Stoughton, Massachusetts. You can see them on the web at www.stoyac.org. Email, how do you say that?
Light Res.
There you go. That's how it is, huh?
Yeah, it's Light Res. It's just it's a derivation of actually my my company name, which is Lighting Resources. So it's lightres11@gmail.com, and I always check my email and I get back to you.
And you want us to like you on Facebook.
Yeah, of course, because that's a great advertising medium as well. So it goes out to a lot of people.
Great. And I guess that's it as far as the messages are concerned. John, you want to talk a little bit about fundraising?
Yeah, we do. As I said, it's most significant. I mean, significant to all the sports, but in football, I mean, our budget, it costs us about $70,000 a year to run the football program. We maintain the field, and we buy the equipment, and it's like I said, it's expensive sport. Where we're not in it to make money, but we definitely want to be in the black. So it's a very important segment of what allows us to operate. So our biggest fundraiser is a calendar contest, and we make it a contest. So the kids, all the kids that register, have to sell 10 calendars as part of their registration at $5 a piece. And you'll see them around. They're printed up, and the kids oftentimes will have their jerseys on or whatever. But for $5. You can get 31 chances. How many days in the month? 30, whatever. In the month of October, I think it's
every
30.
day.
Yeah, a month of October. Every day we draw a winner, and that means you actually have that many days. Every day you're still eligible for a prize, and that's where we make the money, the bulk of our money to support this thing. In addition to the registrations, and then I do the sponsorships. I send letters out to the various people that sponsor our programs. But it's very integral. So if you see the kids out there selling these calendars, it's really simple. All you got to do is put your name down on one slip, your contact information, and give them $5 or her $5, and you'll get a check in the mail, hopefully.
What kind of prizes?
Cash. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks for asking. They're cash prizes. So most every day is like a $50 winner. And then on weekends, I think home weekends might be $150. It depends. It's $2,000 overall the cost of the month. And now, what's a benefit too is that the kids can sell more than the 10 calendars. 10 calendars are required, so help them out. Give them the 5. But for those who are more industrious, they have an opportunity to earn jerseys or winter jackets or things like that for themselves. And then the cheerleaders, of course, earn their jackets. They, we're always dressed well. We might not always play the best, but we always look the best.
You don't play the best?
I think that's important. No, we do.
You do.
But sometimes
we always look good.
Sometimes we always look good, right?
We always look good.
Have you had any participants in these programs that are going on to bigger and better and greater,
absolutely.
greater heights?
Well, as an example, we had Darren Jordan played
the 49ers.
49ers wearing a Super Bowl ring. He's gone on, and Ryan Lacasse, who played
at Syracuse, and he played on the Super Bowl team with the Colts that one year.
So, I mean, we've had kids, and there's others that have gone on and played college ball.
We have some that have coached, actually presently coaching. Mike Horan, from the Horan family, I think he was up at Bates, I think, in Maine. That's where he played. But then he's been a coach. He's now, I think, the defensive coordinator at Harvard, and he's been there for a couple of years now. So, there's some people that have made a career out of football and coaching and things like that.
Well, that must make you very proud.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And we do a dinner most every year. We have to restructure it a little bit now, but we do an awards dinner, and again, the kids come free. We give out first place trophies. We don't get participation trophies, but everybody gets something, especially the little kids. They get a medal or something like that to acknowledge it.
You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's happy. Look, they deserve it, and they do a lot, and they're great. If you want to have some fun, come down and watch a Mighty Mike game.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Well,
Yeah.
same thing with basketball. When you see the kids go out there, we have playoffs like everybody else, and we do give trophies for the winning team, and we also give a trophy to the finalist. Also, where there's no second place, there's a finalist, and each of the coaches get a trophy along with the participants, and also the sponsor.
Yeah.
So I mean, the programs are run right. I mean, and it's all geared to participation, and that's what we're looking for. Whether you're good, not good, you're great, not great, it doesn't matter. Come out, participate. Just don't sit home and watch TV. Don't play Nintendo. Don't play with have the most athletic thumbs in the world. But get out and meet other kids, and play a sport, whether it be football or basketball or softball. There's things to be done, and not only that, but it keeps you moving, keeps the blood flowing. And for the parents that want to get involved,
That's the name of the game.
That's what we need.
We do need parents,
we
right.
do need some parent help, whether it's coaching their own, or maybe they don't have a kid and they want to get involved in coaching. Members of our board, when you stop and look at it, and probably with some of the others, don't always have kids in the program.
Right.
Good.
You know, oh, you ready?
Yeah, ready to cut this.
Okay, all right.
I,
I was just going to say, you don't have to be a pro to start. We teach you the fundamentals. It's not because other kids have played, some kids haven't, but not all of them have. So come on out, we'll show you what to do.
Sounds great. John Kowalczyk, George Zielinski, both prominent members of the STOYAC force. I want to thank you both for coming in and telling your story. It was a pleasure to have you on. It's long overdue, and I'm wishing you both huge success.
Thank you, Roy. Thanks for asking us.
And may I at this time say a special thanks to Leo McGowan, who's our floor director, Gina Coe, our director and behind the buttons there, Michael Hammond, Jeff Pickett, CJ Mullen, and of course Dave Young. Thank you all for helping to make this show what it is. This is Roy Cohen. I thank you very much for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.